Last week I tackled the lighting problem in my garage by building a DeWalt battery pack powered set of 12 volts white LEDs. Now this kind of converted the higher voltage down and ran as pretty standard string of 12 volt LEDs, and I just had them kind of strung around the place, which provided some illumination, but it's not the most efficient way of doing it. So what I'm going to do is build a kind of a lighting panel. I've got a sheet of MDF, I've got some silver foil tape, and I've got another string of LEDs. So I'm going to build a light panel which I can kind of direct at the work area in the garage.
Knows what he does not know and does not think he needs to know it. So it's simple. It's not that he does not know what he does not know.
I'm not quite sure how many lights I want on this board and in how kind of densely packed I want them to be. So what I'm going to do is just start sticking a few down with some spacing that feels kind of right and just see how it goes. I've got the LEDs laid out in a roughly even pattern. It equals a little over 2 meters, which is kind of what I was thinking about. I'm not sure how bright this is going to be in reality, but I've got plenty of space to put in an extra strip in between some of these. So what I'm going to do now is wire these up. They're just straightforward 12 volt lights. I'm just going to gang up all the different sides, and that'll give me a kind of a single power input, and I can go and plug it in and see how it works. I've finished soldering them all together, and I've also slipped a little bit of Scotch tape behind the connections. This silver foil is kind of conductive, and the kind of copper pads kind of come to the very end, so I just don't want anything to short out. So I've given the light a test, and from a fairly high mounting position, it works remarkably well. It's not bright, but it provides a good even illumination throughout the entire garage. And so what I've done, just to improve things a little bit, is added a few more strips. So between the gaps of all the other ones, I run in an extra LED strip, and that's all been wired into the same circuit. And so when this is now mounted on the ceiling, I'm confident it'll provide kind of a good illumination almost throughout the garage. So now I've got the light, I need to mount it onto the ceiling. Now the ceiling in the garage is going to be made from reinforced concrete, so I don't particularly fancy trying to drill into it. So what I'm going to use is a construction adhesive, but the light itself is a bit too heavy to try and stick that on in one piece. And I also might want to take it down to fix it or to add to it. So what I've made is a little kind of bracket kind of mechanism for the back. And so I've got this backing piece here. This will kind of glue onto the ceiling, and then I can reach up and slide light into it, and that should hold in place quite securely.